Love, love, love. Hi, particles.
I was going to say the same thing. Hello, particles.
How's all of our fellow particles doing this week? Please comment below and let us know.
Hopefully everybody is good.
Yes.
I say I feel good.
We feel good. We've had a busy week. And last week we
skipped a week.
Skipped a week because she was in Miami. She needed to do so for a little getaway. And it was great, wasn't it?
It was great. It was beautiful and it was warm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hug the sun.
It wasn't here. Nana stayed to take care of the kids and the cats.
Oh yeah, you'll
the
have
mini
to add
cats.
some pictures. We did have the babies.
And I will add some pictures of the babies. The hairless little rat-looking, beautiful. They're cute.
Precious babies.
But they definitely look like little rats with long tails. And especially when their eyes weren't open. But now they're getting a little cuter because they can open their eyes.
Yeah, and a little honorier.
Yeah.
We thought that we would do something about the winter blues this week. Because this is usually the time of year, that it hits me the hardest is like the middle of February when it's been it's so cold all the time. And usually, we were talking about this today, usually it's dreary.
Yeah.
But this year,
it's a lot darker.
I feel like we've had a lot of sunny days. It's still cold, but sun, and that helps me tremendously. So I think that was just a kind of lucked out thing. Can't control the weather.
Right.
But having that sun, I mean, I still
matters.
Tan in the wintertime to get a little bit of it, and like they only let me do it for 20 minutes a day. It's not enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't recommend that. That's, can be unhealthy for you. But I gotta have that vitamin D. That's more not healthy for me is to not have any sun in my life.
Right.
So that was just something that we kind of lucked out on.
Sometimes you have to weigh the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
Or the co's and the prawns. I mean,
you do you.
We're all inclusive here. But anyway, so
we just have all inclusive. Can I just say I want to share this, and it is totally off topic, I suppose, of like this particular topic, but I do want to share it because I just really loved it. We were reading a book this week, a new one, of course, another one. We're reading like 6 now. And it talked about the universe. And I just loved how it separated it into uni and verse. And it was like, if you break that down, you've got uni, which means one, and verse, like song. Music. And so one song, and how the universe, how we are one. We're all particles of a big, like they're one all connected. Song. And I just want to share that because, I mean, like I said, it's kind of off the rails from the topic, but like totally on the rails of what our whole like podcast is called, you know, and why, like how we think that we're all one of the bigger universal mind, and we're all connected. And
yep. But the winter blues, like I would say I do get the winter blues, but not nearly as severely as Erica normally gets them. And like it kind of runs in my family. My mom definitely gets the winter blues. I think a lot of people do, and sometimes don't even realize it. Like they just don't realize why they're so irritable, or why they're having less desire to do things with their friends and family, or what's going on. They don't realize it's connected. Other people
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Like that. You may not even notice it.
You may not even notice that, or notice why that. I've read a little research on it, and I do believe that it affects, most people in some way or another. Some people don't notice it at all, and that's fine. But the lack of sunlight can actually cause like chemical changes in your brain that have to do with serotonin, melatonin, which is like a sleep hormone. And these can affect, your mental health. These can affect your mood. They can affect just, how you feel in general. So, sunlight's important. It's a lot more important than people even realize, I think. So it's just a good subject, we thought, to give you guys a little bit of knowledge that we have about it, and some things you can do about it if you are one of those particles that has strongly is affected by the winter blues.
Yeah, because like she was saying, like I honestly haven't really had the winter blues this year. Which is wild because I always do. So we're like, yeah, we maybe have found like something that helps.
Yes.
And we should definitely share that.
A lot.
Because I'm living proof of that right now.
Yes.
That, like, the things that I have been doing, which is a whole, slew of things. Like, I don't know if you could pick just one, but
Right.
like the combination of things. Like, also again, like, well, we can't control the sun being out, but definitely like
Right.
I'm living proof
But
that
that's been helpful.
the things that I've been doing have really helped this winter. I have not gotten like where I usually do, because it gets dark so early. I'm like 5 o'clock, it's dark. I'm like, okay, crawl into bed, Netflix and chill for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Because that's what I do in the wintertime, because it's dark and I can't go outside and play.
Right.
And so then the less I do, the less I want to do, and the more in the hole I get. And I'm like,
It's a cycle,
I'm so mopey, and I have no motivation, because the less I do, the less I want to do. It's just, it's a vicious cycle. So I've stayed out of that.
I was, like I told her earlier, I've definitely noticed this year that she has not had near the troubles, that she usually has with the winter blues. It's usually pretty severe by now. And yeah, I told her when she said, yeah, this year I didn't. And I'm like, yeah, because you literally changed your life. Like before,
My life.
Erica came armed, prepared this year. I said, you literally were like armed and ready for war when winter came, because you were like, I'm going to make plans. I'm going to keep them. They don't have to be constant, busy plans. Nobody's got time for that.
But
just one plan, like that little Miami trip she just took. When you know you're going to do something, for months before, it just gives you something to look forward to.
No, valid point. Like, I did come prepared this year, and I actually had made this list, like, last year during the same time, but it was, like, while I was in the winter blues. And then summertime came, and I wasn't anymore. I'm busier in the summertime, so I didn't really have time. Like, I didn't never really put it into practice as frequently as I am now. But I would say, like, also just kind of full circle with that, too. Like you said, like, I mean, like, Mom did some research on this topic as well, which is also a really good idea to help, I feel like, combat the winter blues, is to do research. Because with the research, then
get some advice that you think would work for you.
and then you see the signs and symptoms, and then you, like, the first step to healing, is admitting the problem, or, acknowledging it. And so, like, you may not even know you have the winter blues or what it is.
Right.
So, yeah, for you to then, take a step of, like, well, let me do a little research and, like, understand my body and understand that that's what's going on. And then, go from there. I just think that's just, like, what you did to explain was a good step to take to battle the winter blues.
And just like some of the basics that I had found online, there's actually, a medical term for the winter blues, and it's called SAD, which stands for...
Sad?
Yep, and it stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder. Okay, it's an actual real disorder that is diagnosed professionally by a doctor. It doesn't have to be, because a lot of people, you can self-diagnose this as well. But it's very common. More than 3 million people in the United States per year are actually diagnosed with it. So imagine how many people don't go to the doctor or just are not diagnosed with it. So it's pretty common. It is treatable. They say it usually resolves in months because it is seasonal, and it is usually self-diagnosable, because you kind of know after a couple years when it's the same, symptoms, and you get depressed around the same time, you figure it out naturally. Like, basically, if you have symptoms of major depression during the winter months, or even if it's not the winter, it can be, in the summer. Some people actually do get depressed at certain months of the year.
That's a phenomenon too, though. I mean, I don't know if it's related to this, but the one that I'm aware of is like the PTSD anniversary phenomenon. And so it's like you've ever had something happen during a certain time of the year.
Someone.
So it's a little unrelated to the winter blues, but it's a phenomenon. Like, people experience it during a certain time of the year. That's when,
Right. So the symptoms are lethargy or lethargy, whichever way you want to say it.
Tell you all the symptoms.
She can tell you all
Bingy, of them. Don't get out of bed, Netflix and chill, lack of motivation to do anything whatsoever, dreading my life the next morning because I know it's going to be dark and cold, dreading my life every time I have to go outside, dreading my life every time snow is in the forecast, literal dread. I'm like, I cannot sit here and spend half of my life in dread of it. I need to either move south or figure out something to overcome this, because I literally am spending months out of my life dreading my life.
Yeah.
And that's no way to live. at all.
Yep, no, it's not. Fatigue, low energy, withdrawal from friends and family, like she said, not wanting to do anything, inability to focus or concentrate, and she's definitely had that before.
That's the ADD.
Sadness, yeah, or that. Sadness, anxiety, and despair.
Which I've also self-diagnosed.
Change in appetite with cravings for sweets and starches, weight gain, headaches, irritability, and that's about it for the symptoms.
Well, I feel like crap. Like the less I do, again, like just because I'm not doing anything productive, like I usually we have
feel like
patterns.
Crap because you don't want to do anything.
And since I don't have anything to do, because like I said, there's nothing to be done outside, yard work or whatever, then like we're done with homework and dinner early, and then I do spend a lot of time just like loafing.
Yeah.
And so then I start to feel.
She really doesn't anymore.
But then just the less that I do, then the more I think it adds to the cycle as well, because I feel like an unproductive member of society, which I feel good when I'm being productive, or like just unproductive in general.
Right.
And so then that adds to the blues as well, because I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not really, I'm just not being productive. I'm not doing any of the feel good stuff. I'm just doing the bingey stuff.
The existing
stuff.
Yeah.
So that also adds to like just the grossness of it.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It's like a cycle. Basically, self-care, I think, is the main thing. But then they also have light therapies.
To you.
Right. Everyone's different about what.
Because I feel like what I'm doing
would help them.
Even like the things like playing music or whatever. Like I feel like that's my type of self-care.
Yeah, that's her
like
type.
That's one way of like how I like just express myself and get creative and like I love doing it. So because I love, even though I'm like not massaging my feet, like, so I'm just saying like it doesn't have to be the like the stigma of self-care, like taking a bubble bath, like whatever it is that you enjoy. Reading, that's self-care. That's feeding the soul. So
just literally kind of just be gentle with yourself, because it is a kind of a touchy, tricky thing. Like you want to give yourself self-care, but you also want to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone as well. Because if you don't, nothing's going to change. You're just going to, kind of stay in that same state of mind. So basically, the things that I read for treating it is the light therapies and psychotherapy. So going to a therapist, of course, would help because they can give you advice for your own personal life, because everyone's different. Medications, there are medications, for people that are depressed that sometimes people have to take just for a couple months a year, and it's helpful. And then for the self-care, the things I read literally are all the things Erica's been doing. Make plans with friends and family, even if you don't feel like it, just, once in a while. It doesn't have to be all the time, but make a plan with someone and give yourself something to look forward to. Go outside if you can. Sit by a window just to get more sun. Try to give yourself some kind of exercise routine. It doesn't have to be working out or something.
Exercise also, like for one, it's just going to make you feel good because you're not being a bum. Two, though, it actually does release endorphins, which is like the happiness chemical. So
see how everything affects your brain.
All connected.
Like things you do really do affect your brain.
What else releases endorphins?
Scalp massages. What else? Those are to help you relax, though, and I love them.
The bound chicky wow.
Oh, hey, now I don't know why it's not on my list. It really should have been. Google, catch up.
I made myself blush.
Yeah, she should be blushing. Anyways, so and speaking of which, though, that is exercise.
Because we get like cabin fever as well. Just being stuck inside all the time.
Yes.
Because who wants to go outside when it's cold?
Right.
I disagree with that one.
It says keep warm and cozy though too. So how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna do both? It says go outside. No, I
think it's probably just
and then keep warm and cozy. So I think you want to stay comfortable, as much as possible. Try to stay connected to your friends and family, of course. Even though when you're going through something like that, a lot of times you don't want to. Try to go against, like I said, your comfort zone.
A lot of people withdraw with any type of depression, and I agree with that. And I also agree that it is so good for the soul to be around your friends.
Yes.
I always feel better. Well, I am always like a big advocate because I'm one of those people that like pump you full of good juju. So I'm like, I want you to come hang out with me when you're down. Not like you're gonna, you know, be that way all the time. But if you need to pick me up,
yeah, she's a great.
I'm like, come over, because I know you're gonna
bubbly
feel better when you leave. Like,
personality.
that's more the reason to come hang out with your friends who are gonna pick you up and make you feel good.
Because energy is contagious.
Me and Mandy just talked about that last night.
Eat again. Try to make sure you eat your fruits and veggies. And limit the comfort foods, because the comfort foods are full of starches and stuff. And like I said, it's a vicious cycle. You're just going to get fatter and then depressed because you're fatter. And then you're going to get fatter because you're depressed.
I'm fat because I
It's
eat.
the truth. And last but not least on my little list that I got is avoid self-medicating, obviously. Try not to, you know, self-medicate with alcohol or drugs, because it's a temporary fix that is obviously not going to
I want to go sideways with this, but
go sideways.
So you may have to cut it out.
No, I refuse. Go ahead, because it'll probably be something.
I agree that like alcohol is a depressant. It's science, and it is a temporary fix. And yeah, obviously drugs are bad. Say no, just say no. However, I don't know. I mean, you do a little self-medicating.
When we say drugs, I don't think we're talking about the natural herbs that God put in the ground for you and for me.
That's all I'm saying. Is that actually might be a good cure for the winter blues. It's so
helped
good
me.
for anxiety.
It's helped me.
It's so good for anxiety and like people who can't sleep and depression and different things. So I mean,
saying.
That is not medical advice, and I feel like make sure you put a disclaimer up.
I will. We are not medical professionals.
That cannot be legal. But
and no,
that's just something
we're not
that
giving
works.
Advice. We're letting you know. Well, she's basically throwing me under the bus again, but we're letting you know the truth about our lives.
Yeah, that's just what something that works for. Well, I don't know. I don't do drugs. It is helpful. We believe we are not medical professionals, and we do not recommend
necessarily. She's a hippie,
dirty little hippie
at heart,
tree hugger,
and yeah, she's a real life tree hugger, more so than even me. And I'm born in the hippie era, like I should be more of a hippie, but I'm just a little bit crazy.
When I was in Miami,
she's definitely she was hugging them.
I was so excited.
I'll be showing that.
There were trees with foliage on them.
No kidding. It did look beautiful too.
That's something else too. If if it's feasible for you,
shared it with me a lot because she sent a lot of Marco Polos.
Of course. A shout out to Marco Polo.
Yes.
That's another thing though. Now that we're talking about it, that I think is a good idea to combat the winter blues. If you can, like you said, with just making plans for something to look forward to, and if you can make plans to look forward to a trip where it's sunny and warm and just escape for a little bit, that I think too really that's why I was like February is going to be perfect, because that's the height of my winter blues. It'll give me something to prepare for and look forward to, and I'll be busy preparing, because I'll have to get all my other things in order as well if I'm going to leave out of town.
Right.
And then after I got back, of course, then you're playing catch up. So I haven't had time to really fall into the cracks. And also I've got my list of, daily things. But, yeah. And I got, I fed my soul. It'd be 140 degrees outside, and you won't hear me complain, because I complain all winter long, and I'm not going to complain all year long. I'm not going to be like, oh, it's so cold, I hate it. And then when summer comes, be like, oh, it's so hot, I hate it. I'm like, no, I hate the cold way worse than I hate the heat. So I'll be out there basking in it, frying fried eggs. I'm like, love the sun.
The princess and the pea. And I'm sure that's showing my age, but I gotta have 72, 73.
I'm trying for several years to look at it from a different perspective, because I am all about the mind over matter, and I don't like to say anytime ever I hate something or I dread something, because then you put that out there. But I do loathe the winter time. And so for years though,
my mom does too.
I have been trying to mindset it differently and be appreciate, and I do appreciate. I still don't really enjoy, but just appreciate the changes, because there is beauty in that. It's the circle of life. That's our life. That is so connected to just the universe of how, things die and then are reborn, and just like ecosystems and what kind of animals can thrive and be reborn, and like it just is so, it affects so many things. You have to have it. It can be a beautiful thing as well, and without one you can't have the other.
That's true.
Like, if I would definitely not appreciate the spring as much as I do, and I always say it's my favorite season, and
Plus, she was born in the spring.
I love summer though, and I love fall. It's beautiful, but I think the reason why spring is my favorite season is because my heart is so freaking happy when I see a tiny green bud after months of death and darkness. I am so just thrilled and tickled and excited, and I'm just so happy. My heart is just so happy. And I wouldn't appreciate that if I had just spent 3 months of death
in 4 feet of snow and 0-degree weather. Well, even that thing I read said, the sun, it isn't just about vitamin D. It affects your melatonin, your sleep hormone. So if you don't get any sun for days and days, that's why you're tired all the time.
For sure, yeah.
So
I'm glad to learn that. Like, I haven't looked up. Another reason why I hadn't really researched anything is because I knew Mom would, and I thought, cool, like, I'm going to learn just as much as everybody else is while she discusses it today. So I was like, that's
and I'm so proud of her, because the crazy thing is she really didn't research it, but she's doing literally everything on the list of the advice to do for self-care. Like, she has to. She's one of those people that if she doesn't, she really will get the winter blues so bad. I've seen her do it year after year after year after year. So
I'll share a couple
I'm
things.
proud of her for doing this year and keeping herself. And she's so productive. Like, she's so productive. It makes me crazy. I told her today, don't even talk to me.
She did too.
I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to hear about none of the crap you're doing.
See, because that should be motivation. That should be motivation. Let me motivate you. Let me be a good influence mother. I will share a few of the things. So, like I said, I made this list.
I do babysit. It's not like I don't do anything ever. It's just that on my free time, once I get home, I don't do anything ever.
Yeah, we make it sound like
I don't leave my chair or something. We'll admit, once I get home,
play with each other.
6 o'clock in the evening and it's dark again.
Oh yeah,
I'm done for the day. And I don't, have the willpower, I guess, or the desperation. Let's be real, that she has to do things like this for herself. I feel like you do kind of have to hit a low.
Pretty level, yeah. She's just like, she's happy,
motivated.
She's content.
I'm content doing.
She's like, I'm having cool. I don't feel bad if I Netflix and chill for days.
Like, let me live.
So this is more for you people that are like me and get sad when you're unproductive, right?
Doing nothing.
Feel gross when you don't do good things,
right?
But yeah, if you're like that, you do you. Like, I'm supportive of that. I don't think it's maybe the healthiest choices, but what do I know? If I claim to be a wise man, like,
right.
I mean, she's doing well. She's healthy. She's, thriving.
Look at me.
Mentally very stable.
A stable genius, you could say.
Teach their own. But if we can't help somebody,
but the little bit that I do with her, I get with her,
feels better. And so, I don't think we should be ourselves up about it. No. So that's beautiful that you don't. And that being said, though, also she does feel like she already feels good, yes.
Yeah,
but she does feel a little better when she does.
When she brings me out of my comfort zone. It's the truth. A lot better.
Now I'm
proud of myself. It feels good to be proud of yourself for something.
And that's all that matters. I've been teaching the kids that this week because, me and one of my sons was just having a conversation, and I always try to do this where I'm like, are you proud of you? I can be like, and there are times too I'm like, I'm so proud of you, but I want my kids to know that it's their, they have to measure up to their own standards and God's, God first, obviously, but what makes you happy? I'm proud of you, but I don't want, we're equals in, in our creation. So, obviously I treat my kids like kids and we have boundaries, but I know that in the bigger scheme of things, they are a particle just as I am a particle. Yep. And they do not need to live up to my standards to be successful. They need to be happy with their choices. Yep. And so I'm always like, are you proud of you? Like you just said, I'm proud of me. And so, it just, if you do something that makes you feel better, even if you're not self-loathing, which you shouldn't be anyway. I sometimes take it a little too far because I am desperate.
Yes.
And hungry all the time. And just,
But it's working. It's working
Yes,
for her.
I'm so much better now.
Yes.
Like, I think I'm glad that I am desperate when I get to those times because it forces me to do better things.
Yes.
And I feel better. So, but yeah, so some of the things, like I made this list, like I said, last winter because I was preparing for this winter and was trying to keep myself like toward the end of it busy. And most of the things were like working on the house. I was like, and I even planned that for this year. I was like, February will be the month where I get like something painted or something remodeled because I have all this free time. And that's usually when I have the blues. And honestly, haven't even had time to do that. And I don't even care right now. Like, there's things that need done, but I'm like, those are just things. And now I spend most of my time working on my other things.
Has changed.
And I had put at the top of the list healthy things to do because I also didn't want to. There was a lot of times in the winter, like I'd go out to the pub or, go out to dinner or just things that like weren't the healthiest, just out of boredom.
Yeah.
Out of boredom.
Nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
That's what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's where all the peeps are at. So I put healthy things to do. Top of my list is pray, which I've been doing a lot of that. I have like a daily list of things to pray, like that I want to pray for. And then I have on there read, of course. We love to read. Practice the uke, which I don't do that every day. But I like again
on the regular though.
Like if I have time, but like my big things, I do pray every day. I try to do yoga every day. I try to meditate every day, which also meditation, a whole another podcast episode. But again, with the chemicals, like there's science behind this as well that it'll also help.
Yes.
In more ways than one. So those are like things I try to do every day. But then I have other things that like play the uke, study, because I whatever I feel like learning about. Currently it's French. I had Italian on here, which I was learning, but then again, me and Lisa have sponsor babies that speak French, so we've decided to go that route. Cook and just like not chore cook, like make something fancy for myself or something that I want to try.
Right,
do the fun of it.
She enjoys it.
Crafts is on there, and like I'm not really crafty. Like I said before, I had it on there as something to keep me busy, and that one
she is crafty.
I have
when she does her crafts, she's very crafty.
I have no qualms about that. I haven't really done any crafts, and like this week too, I was super busy. I had 2 cakes I had to decorate, and I thought like I really didn't have time to play my uke or do some of the things that I usually do every day, and I was like, that's all right. I'm being creative in a different way. Being creative is another big thing. Like that's on my like daily to-be list because it's so good for the soul. So it was like today, my creative flow is decorating my cakes. And so like these other things, no big deal. But I do try to like be an inspiration to somebody every day or, and if I'm not, I don't beat myself up because it's so regular that I'm like the good,
outweighs the bad.
Yeah. The amount that I'm doing outweighs the days that I take off. So, but yeah, and just be an inspiration and be creative and just little things. And these things don't take like these things are things I can spend 5 minutes if I am, too busy all day. But most of these things I enjoy doing. Like I look forward to doing them. So it's not like I'm making a list and I'm like, oh, I have to do this today to not get the winter blues. If it's something you don't enjoy, like these are things I look forward to doing. So that's why those are the things on my list.
Make your list of things that you actually enjoy, and if you can't remember what you enjoy, ask somebody that used to know you back in the day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What do I like?
Because I've been there before where I can't remember. I'm like, what did I used to like to do?
Or try something new. I like to try new things, so that's almost something in its own self.
Yeah.
But you can always try something new to discover if you like it or not, and maybe it'll lead. Like I started playing the uke.
That's brilliant.
Now I've got a djembe drum and like tambourine and all types of things. It's just led to.
Yeah, you don't have to look back at what you used to like to do. Definitely try something. I didn't even think about that.
Or like with the crafts. I'm like, I put
because
that
you
on
can
here
find out more about yourself. Yeah, she found out.
We
she
took it off.
Even though she's such a perfectionist that everyone thought she was crafty. Because when she would do crafty things, she's made things out of like cabinet doors and she's made very artful.
I didn't really enjoy it though. I did it because I needed to get rid of the cabinet doors. And didn't want to throw them away. I didn't want them to go to waste.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. Most people.
So I can be crafty, but I don't really enjoy being crafty.
Right, which we didn't know. This is something we learned.
Yeah.
And on your point about how meditation, how it affects, literal, brain chemicals and stuff. I know. I found this out from a regular physician. They did like a testing on like thousands of people. And had them just try to meditate. I think it was just like 5 minutes a day. It might have been 15, but it was not more than that. And literally, like, half of them went off of their high blood pressure pills because it lowered so much they didn't need them anymore. So this is how much he said he was shocked at how much it affected people's actual blood pressure.
And not to mention, just
I suck at it. I can't meditate. I'm not a good meditator, but it's very good for you.
Anybody can meditate. It's people like, it's the thought that, for one, it's the thought you just said, I can't meditate. That with that mindset, you're setting yourself up for failure. But also, I mean, I always quote out of Eat, Pray, Love, where that guy's like, oh, what a problem to have.
Yeah.
When she's talking about how she can't clear her thoughts. I bet you're the only person in the world that has that issue.
Right.
And like just being facetious, and I'm like, oh yeah, like that's a struggle for, it's a practice, okay? And like it gets easier.
So I
practice.
shouldn't say I can't. I actually can and do much better than I ever thought I could.
It's a practice.
I used to really have a hard time.
The more you
yeah,
practice, the easier it gets. And you're always meditating when you're trying to
focus on your breath.
Even
Just
if you're
focus on
having
your breath.
thoughts, you can still be meditating. But anyway, I wanted to add real quick one more thing that I thought of, kind of on the same note. But as always, watch your thoughts, because that also is medically, scientifically proven that our thoughts can affect, like, I believe it's the pH and alkalinity, and like, it's science proven that like when you have negative thoughts, it produces more of one of those chemicals.
Acidity or
yes,
something.
acidity. Well, it'll alter your chemicals, and the ones that are negative thoughts produce more of is the bad ones. Like obviously the ones that make you depressed,
and that's what makes you
and
start
happy
obsessing
thoughts
over the
will
bad ones.
Release more. Will level that out.
Yeah, alkaline will like nullify that acidic,
Yes.
bad,
and that's proven
chemical reaction
with thoughts that people's levels like that change. And so
it's
how I am,
amazing
mind
what
over matter.
scientists are finding out.
Our thoughts are powerful. Our thoughts are everything. That's where everything starts. So if you have the thought, I can't do something, you've already set it up that way. So if you have the, like, and that's another thing I do every day too, is affirmations, as you guys already know. But I'm like, hey, you're a limitless creator. I got this. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Just starting my day off being grateful and positive. And that, I'm sure, has also helped me not fall into the depths of the winter pit. And that's all. That's all.
Yes.
I mean, that's all. 45 minutes of pumping you guys full of all this
Everything we
information. You're welcome. So, hopefully,
if you guys know anything else that we didn't add,
or
please.
share your progress. If anybody is going on this journey with us, we will add you to our prayer list, or we'll help try to support in any way we can. Because that's what we try. That's what we are just striving to do. We're just here, trying to bring a little
happiness,
goodness into the world, a little positivity. As always, we appreciate you more than you know, and we love you, all of you fellow particles.
Yes,
as
we do.
A universe,
as a uni,
and namaste.
Verse. Namaste. 1, 2, 3.